This is a good way to start. Khamsa. It means good luck. And I think good luck accompanies this meeting of Brazilian and Israeli business people, entrepreneurs, innovators. Brazil has tremendous capacities. It is a huge country with a very large population, very dynamic, warm, informal, open to change, with great technical and scientific institutions. Israel is the innovation nation. We can do great things together. I think that under the leadership of President Bolsonaro, Brazil will be an even greater nation. And I believe that our alliance, which is entering a new era with President Bolsonaro and myself, can make unbelievable achievements. We know because we've done a few things on our own, but I think together is better. Together is better. What is it that we did? Briefly, the most important thing that we did is change the business environment. Before we changed technology, we changed the business environment. And I'd like to tell you briefly what we did, because I know that my friend Jair Bolsonaro is doing exactly that thing. We are both capitanos, captains in the army. You were captain in the paratrooper, not the army, paratroops, yes. Well, I was a captain later in the paratroops. The first day I wasn't a captain, I was a recruit. And the commander put us on a big field, and he said, get in a straight line. Now we're going to take a special race. You, Netanyahu, you're first. Look to the person on your right, put him on your shoulders. The next man, look to the person on your right, put him on your shoulders. And the third, and so on. And then he said, he blew the whistle, and we took the race. I had someone about my size, heavy. I could barely walk. The next guy in this company, he was the smallest soldier in the company. He had the biggest guy on his shoulders. He collapsed. The third guy was a big guy. He had someone relatively small on his shoulders. He took off like a rocket and won the race. I said to the people of Israel, when I became finance minister in 2003, and we had a big crisis, I said, we are like those soldiers in the race. Because in the global economy, all national economies are a public sector sitting on the shoulders of a private sector who has to do the work. And what we have to do is, we became too fat, like the man sitting on the small soldier. We're about to collapse like that soldier next to me. So we have to put the fat man on a diet. That's hard politically. And we have to give a lot of oxygen to the private sector below. What is the first source of oxygen? Lower taxes. Lower taxes. Reduce the size of the public sector. Reduce taxes. And then, as you run forward, reduce the barriers to competition. Because now you have a trim private sector or public sector sitting on an athletic private sector, and you think everything is fine. But the athlete begins to run and he hits a ditch. He crosses the ditch, he hits a wall. He crosses the wall, he hits a fence. These are called barriers to competition, bureaucracy, overregulation. So you have to put the fat man on a diet, lower taxes for the private sector, and remove barriers to competition, reduce regulations. We did this. Because of this, Israel's economy grew very fast. Can you show GDP per capita? GDP per capita. No? Yes? Okay. We grew fast. Very fast. We now, according to the IMF, passed Japan in GDP per capita. There are other indications. We did many, many other things that moved the Israeli economy. Unemployment went down, inequality went down, people were working, earning more, and so on. Here's the GDP per capita. Can you show inequality? Inequality. You have that Gini differential, please? You'll see it in a minute. When we achieved all this, technology kicked in. It was always there. It was in the army. It was in our intelligence services. But we couldn't make it happen until we created an environment so that there would be a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups, because you don't earn money. If you have a 70% tax rate, it doesn't matter how much technology you have. If you have a 70% tax rate, it doesn't matter how much entrepreneurship you have. Nobody will be here. This is what happened to inequality. As we put the reforms, first it went up, and then it went down, 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 down. So when we produce growth, competition, lower taxes, lower government spending, we actually got both improvements in GDP per capita and inequality. Israel is more equal now than it was before. All this is simple. We call that fat man, thin man. You have to get the fat man less fat, and you have to have the thin man below stronger. But it's not enough. And this is why we're here. The reason it's not enough is because we are in a revolution in economic terms, and this can only be seen in the chart of the last 10 years, the 10 biggest companies. These are the 10 biggest companies in 2007 in the world, and the 10 biggest companies in 2017. In 2007, all the blacks were energy companies, and in 2017, they're all gone, and it's all IT. It's all information-based companies. Every one of those companies has a major research arm in Israel, major research arm. And they produce a revolution in value. More valuable than oil, more valuable than gold, more valuable than any resource material. There are 400 multinational companies in Israel, and you can see that we are growing. This is where we started doing, this is where, go back, show the growth. This is where we started doing, right here, right there, around 2003, we started doing the fat man, thin man reforms. And look what happened. Technology followed markets. These are foreign investors in Israel. They come, and with the market liberation comes investments in technology. Investment in technology, market liberation, and vice versa, more and more and more. This creates new industries. We saw some of it now in the other room. The first industry Israel now has is a car industry. I want you to see the original car industry of Israel. That's it. I remember they used to give it to captains in the army. Once I leaned on this fiberglass car, my elbow went through. It collapsed. We didn't have scale to compete. This is the new car industry that we have today. Mobileye, which you'll see later, Mr. President, was just bought by Intel for $15 billion. Waze, do you have Waze in Brazil? Okay. Was bought for nothing by Google for $1 billion. And there are 500 smart mobility companies in Israel. It's growing very rapidly. Why? Because the new car industry is basically a computer on wheels. 85% of the cost of a car will soon be software. Now we have a car industry. This is the result of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence coming together. Created one industry. Here's another industry, cyber. Didn't exist 6 years ago. This is Israel's cyber industry. You can see our share in the world. Exports over 5 billion, investments over 1 billion, 500 cybersecurity companies. 7 years ago, zero. Zero. Look at our share in the world markets. Can you see it? No? Well, okay, you can see number 2 after that small country, the United States. Israel is number 2 in the world. Number 2 in the world. This is the car industry, smart mobility, a new industry from nothing. Cyber, a new industry from nothing. Third industry, health, digital health. This is, sorry, these are the companies that are developing out of databases that we are combining and out of the technology that we saw in the other room. We have 98% of the population has digital health records of the last 20 years. You can go into any hospital in Israel and everybody knows everything you had. We are taking 100,000 DNA subsamples, saliva, out of that, and then 2,000 people, we put them on treadmills. We now have a 3-layered database on which we can run algorithms for new drugs, personalized medicine, preventive medicine, and along with the other technologies that are available, remote medicine, telemedicine, we can revolutionize this industry. These are just some of the possibilities. The last one is something you've seen. Can you show precision agriculture? We've seen some examples of that. Fertilizers, drip irrigation, drones in the sky, big data, and the other techniques that are available. I'd give you 4 examples, but the possibilities are infinite. If you take big data, artificial intelligence, and connectivity, you can revolutionize everything. Unfortunately, also politics. That's unfortunate. But that's happening anyway. Everything is changing. Israel is the lab. It's the lab of the world. And I believe that Brazil has tremendous gifts and tremendous possibilities to join us. I can say that if Brazil is the cake, we can be the yeast. We can be your perfect partners. We want to be your perfect partners. We have no limitation on what we share with you, whether in cybersecurity, in general security, in agriculture, in water, in IT. The sky's the limit, literally. And we welcome you as our dearest friends. I know that I've been speaking from the mind, and the mind creates tremendous innovations. But my friend Jair, I speak to you, and the people of Israel speak to you from the heart. We have a brotherhood. Our civilization began in this city thousands of years ago. Our common heritage began on these hills thousands of years ago. We cherish our past. We cherish our traditions. But we are like an old tree with deep roots that keeps on sending branches to the sky. And I believe that there is no better partnership now in the world than the partnership between Brazil and Israel. I saw it on my visit to Brazil. I was deeply moved. You can see it here in your visit. We were in the wall yesterday. We have a wonderful opportunity